Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the size of your dreams? Have you ever looked at your goals, the life you want to live, the person you want to become, and thought, this is just too big? I don't even know where to start. You're not alone. The truth is, most people never achieve their dreams, not because they're impossible, but because they look too overwhelming. We think we need massive action, giant leaps, and overnight transformations. We think success comes from one big decision, one breakthrough moment, one dramatic change. But here's the truth. Success is built on small, consistent steps. Tiny actions, repeated day after day, are what lead to massive transformation. It's not about running a marathon today. It's about taking that first walk around the block. It's not about writing a best-selling book in a week. It's about writing one page every day. It's not about changing your entire life overnight. It's about making one small choice in the right direction and then repeating it. This is the power of small steps. Today, I want to show you how the smallest of actions can change your life, how consistent steps will transform your mindset, your habits, your results, and eventually your destiny. We live in a world obsessed with quick results, fast money, overnight fame, instant transformation. Scroll through social media, and you'll see stories of people who made it big overnight. Someone posts a video that goes viral and suddenly becomes famous. Someone starts a business, and a year later they're a millionaire. Someone posts their before and after photo, and it looks like they transformed their body in just a few weeks. And we look at that and think, why isn't that happening for me? What am I doing wrong? But here's the truth. There's no such thing as overnight success. Behind every success story you admire, there are thousands of small steps you didn't see. Years of showing up when nobody was watching. Countless hours of practice, of failure, of learning, of persistence. Every so-called overnight success was built in the dark, step by step, day by day, long before anyone else noticed. The legendary basketball player Michael Jordan didn't just become great by talent alone. He took thousands of shots in practice. Thousands, every day. The writer J.K. Rowling didn't just sit down and magically create Harry Potter in one go. She wrote consistently while struggling as a single mother, rejected again and again. And even in your own life, you know that anything meaningful you've ever accomplished wasn't instant. It was the result of small, repeated actions. So if you've been waiting for that big break, that magical overnight transformation, stop waiting. Instead, start taking small steps today. Because that's the only way success is ever built. Why are small steps so powerful? It's because of how the human brain works. When we face a big goal, like losing 50 pounds, starting a business, or changing our career, it feels overwhelming. The gap between where we are and where we want to be feels enormous. And when something feels too big, our brain interprets it as danger. We feel anxiety. We procrastinate. We avoid it. But when you break it down into small steps, suddenly it feels manageable. Instead of saying, I need to lose 50 pounds, you say, I'm just going to walk for 10 minutes today. That feels doable. Instead of saying, I need to start a business, you say, I'll spend 15 minutes researching one idea today. That feels achievable. Instead of saying, I need to change my whole life, you say, I'll just wake up 15 minutes earlier tomorrow. And here's the beautiful thing. Once you take one small step, momentum starts to build. Psychologists call this the progress principle. We are motivated by a sense of progress, even tiny progress. When you see yourself moving forward, even in the smallest way, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical. That dopamine makes you feel encouraged, and it drives you to take another step. One step leads to another, and before you know it, you're walking a path you never thought possible. Think about it like this. Small steps compound. Just like money grows through compound interest, actions grow through compound effort. If you improve just 1% every day, it doesn't sound like much. But over the course of a year, that 1% daily improvement makes you 37 times better. Not 37%, 37 times. That's the compound effect. The small things you do every day don't feel dramatic in the moment, but over time, they create results so massive that they seem unbelievable. Read 10 pages of a book every day. That's 3,650 pages in a year, the equivalent of 15 to 20 books. Do 20 push-ups every day. That's 7,300 push-ups in a year. Imagine how much stronger you'd be. Save just $5 a day. That's over $1,800 a year. Invest it, and it grows even more. One small choice may not seem to matter today, but repeated over time, it changes everything. The same is true in reverse. Neglecting small steps, skipping the workout, eating junk food, and wasting time doesn't feel dramatic in the moment, but those small neglects compound into regret, illness, and wasted potential. Life is not made up of big, dramatic decisions. It's made up of small steps that compound into either success or failure. The choice is yours. Let's bring this to life with a few stories. 1. The fitness journey. There was a man who weighed over 400 pounds. He could barely walk a few steps without losing his breath. The idea of running a mile was impossible, but instead of giving up, he decided to just walk to the end of his driveway every day. That was it. A tiny step. Then, he walked down the street. Then, around the block. Weeks later, he was walking miles. Months later, he was jogging. Years later, he ran marathons. He didn't transform because he made a huge leap. He transformed because he kept taking small steps. 2. The writer's dream. A woman dreamed of writing a novel, but she had a full-time job and kids. She felt she didn't have the time. But instead of waiting for the perfect moment, she committed to writing just 300 words a day. Some days, it took 15 minutes. Some days, it took an hour. But she did it consistently. A year later, she had over 100,000 words, the size of a novel. That book was published and became successful. Her dream was built on small daily steps. 3. The financial turnaround. A young man was drowning in debt. He owed thousands of dollars and didn't know how he'd ever get out. Instead of giving up, he committed to putting aside just $10 a week. Then he increased it to $20. Then $50. Slowly, the snowball grew. It took years, but eventually he became debt-free and financially independent. Small steps gave him freedom. These stories aren't rare. They happen every day. The problem is that most people don't start because they underestimate the power of small beginnings. So how do you apply this in your own life? The first step is to break your big goals into small daily actions. Want to get healthy? Don't start with a 2-hour workout. Start by drinking 1 more glass of water a day. Start by walking for 10 minutes. Want to start a business? Don't try to launch everything at once. Start by brainstorming ideas, then research, then build one small part at a time. Want to change your mindset? Don't expect to think positively all the time immediately. Start by writing down one thing you're grateful for every morning. Your dream is not too big. It just needs to be broken into steps small enough to start. And here's the rule. If the step feels too big, make it smaller. Because the point is not speed. The point is consistency. Consistency beats intensity. It's better to do a small thing every day than a big thing once in a while. Now, here's the hard part. Small steps are easy to do, but they're also easy not to do. It's easy to go for a 5-minute walk, but it's also easy to skip it. It's easy to write 200 words, but it's also easy to say, I'll do it tomorrow. It's easy to put aside $5, but it's also easy to spend it on coffee. This is where discipline comes in. The secret is not motivation. Motivation comes and goes. The secret is discipline, the commitment to show up and take the small step, even when you don't feel like it. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't need motivation to brush your teeth every morning. You just do it because it's part of your life. You've built the habit. That's how you need to treat the small steps that build your dream. Make them part of your life, non-negotiable, something you do whether you feel like it or not. And once you build the habit, momentum takes over. Small steps stop being a struggle, and they start being automatic. Here's another truth about small steps. They don't just change one area of your life, they create ripple effects. When you take small steps in your health, like eating better or exercising, you start to feel more energetic. That energy improves your mood. That mood improves your relationships. That confidence helps you in your work. When you take small steps in your mindset, like practicing gratitude, you start to see life differently. That positivity makes you more resilient. That resilience helps you chase bigger opportunities. When you take small steps in your finances, like saving a little money, you start to feel more in control. That confidence reduces stress. That reduced stress improves your health and focus. One small step creates ripples that spread across your entire life. Here's the most important message I want you to hear. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until you feel ready. Don't wait until you have it all figured out. Just begin. The small step you can take today matters more than the perfect plan you'll create someday. Do it scared. Do it uncertain. Do it imperfectly. But do it. Because once you start moving, even in the smallest way, doors will begin to open. Momentum will begin to build. Your confidence will begin to grow. One day, you'll look back and realize that the small step you took was the beginning of a completely different life. So let me ask you, what's one small step you can take today toward your dream? Not tomorrow, not next week. Today, right now. Is it sending one email, making one phone call, walking for 5 minutes, drinking one more glass of water, writing down one idea? It doesn't have to be big. In fact, it shouldn't be big. It should be small enough that you can start immediately. Because here's the truth. Small steps build habits. Habits build consistency. Consistency builds momentum. Momentum builds transformation. And transformation builds the life you were meant to live. The power of small steps is the power to change your destiny. So don't wait. Take the step. Your future self will thank you.